Shop or consign at The Real Real, the leading reseller of authenticated consignment from top designers. The Real Real has women and men's luxury fashion as well as fine jewelry, watches, art, and home at up to 90% off retail. Every item is authenticated by The Real Real's team of authenticators. Shop or consign in-store at therealreal.com or download the app and get 20% off select items with the promo code REAL. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Don't Blame Me. Today, we have a repeat guest, Nikki Limo.
Hello. I've been repeated.
Hello. Lizzie McGuire, you are an outfit repeater.
Yes.
Except you're not an outfit repeater. Because you guys have to watch the video because she looks very cute.
Thank you. Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Or the first time? I was like,
I
did look cute that first time.
I want you to know that I was wearing a cuter shirt before because I was like, oh, she dressed really cute the last time she was on. So like, I have to dress
I think this was
cute.
my outfit last time.
Yeah, but you had like a little tie thing too.
True. You're good memory.
It was really cute. I was like, I love this.
I bought some ties after that.
Yeah.
And wore them because you influenced me.
I'm such an influencer.
You are an influencer. And in my mind, I was like, I feel like she's going to wear denim shorts. And then I was gonna, but I didn't.
Because of the story.
Yeah. Yes. My legs are really hairy, but more than that, you know when you wear pants for a really long time and you don't look at your legs and then you're like, why do I have so many bruises? I am covered in bruises. And I was like, oh shit.
I don't even notice the bruises until I go to edit my photos and then I'm like, oh, there's
a baby face on my leg.
Yeah, I am a cheetah.
But guys, this is the podcast. Welcome. This is Don't Blame Me. It's an advice podcast. If you want to leave a voicemail for an upcoming episode, wow, let's see if I still know it. 310-694-0976.
It's never going to go away.
Thank God. And I still don't know Mott's phone number. And if you're an international listener, which I still get so many DMs, people being like, how do I call in if I'm international? Guys, it's in the intro of every episode. Send us
in the description too.
Oh, that's true. You literally you're bombarded by it.
It's on
fake
the website.
fans.
Yeah, stop
fake
skipping.
fans.
Stop skipping the intros.
Mm-hmm.
You just send us an audio message recorded on your phone and email it to us at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. And it is that easy. You can tell when you hear people with accents on this. They're like, oh wow, how did they get on? I was like, it's not that hard.
They had to move to America. They had to get a new cell phone. Yeah.
They got a pay-as-you-go phone, and here we are. Should we get into the advice giving?
Let's do it.
Hi, English is my second language, so sorry if I make any mistakes. I'm 17. I have a boyfriend. We've been together for over a year now, and we're having sex, which is awesome. So my boyfriend, ever since he's been young, he's masturbated in a non-conventional way. So he'll just lie on his stomach and apply pressure to his penis until he comes. So we looked it up, and it's a thing that some guys do. So the situation it's created is that he cannot orgasm from anything that's not penetrative sex. So hand jobs, blow jobs is just not working for him. He enjoys the sensation of it, like it's fun for him, but he will not orgasm. So the problem is that I've been getting infections ever since we started having sex. So the first time we had sex, I got a UTI. I went to a doctor and I'm taking care of it. So I'm doing everything that I can to prevent those from coming back. But they do. So recently I've had a really bad one and I really, really suffer from them. So I'm now sort of cautious of having penetrative sex, and I'd much rather experience more with other things, but it's not really an option for him. So we're both sort of frustrated about it, and I don't really know what to do. So I'd like any advice that you can give me. Thanks.
Wow, these are two separate problems.
Yeah. Is anyone still just picturing him face down?
Yes, I am.
No,
not
not
smashing his penis.
He's sitting on his penis?
No, I just mean because usually ass up means that your ass is propped
Oh no, I
up.
mean he's planking. He's just
This is the only thing that feels good.
Whoa. Oh, I mean, I don't want to sound ignorant, but I also think if regardless of he's 17 too, I'm assuming.
Probably.
That's it's such a small fraction of your life. If you've been doing one thing for like your quote unquote like like your whole life, this is such a small fraction of your life that I don't think it's like this is a forever always going to be like this kind of thing. I think like and I obviously don't know like the medical aspect of it, like if it is something like with women that like it's not like, I mean, if we could all snap our fingers and be like, yeah, I can come from penetrative sex, like we would.
Totally.
So I don't want to say like, oh, he just needs to like experience other stuff. But I think maybe if you break it down, like, is it a pressure thing? Like, is it like if you give a blowjob, like, is there like a specific part of his body that needs like the pressure of like, you know what I mean? Like, because penetrative sex is pressure.
Or is he lying? He's like, I am sorry, baby. I can only do it.
Yeah.
Or his body's just gotten used to that feeling. And so that's the only way he can come. So if he like stops doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Because he's probably still doing this when he's at home, not with her. So if he stops doing that for a while and then they work in the other ways, it could help too.
Okay, so like I need to know how this masturbation works. So he has his hand on his penis and then
I
he's
was picturing
planking,
him hands
or
free.
he's just like pressure.
I think he's just
So then why
pressuring.
can't she with her hand job just be
That's-
like bop, 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 bop with her
Yeah.
palm, you know, on the tip and like add the pressure.
Because that's like what I would say, like find that same like stimulation in a different way.
Yeah.
But maybe it's the same sense because like we've heard about this with like sex toys or whatever. They don't advise you to use the exact same sex toy the exact same way or like vibrator because your body's going to get used to coming that way that it's not impossible to come any other way. And that's not the only way you can come. It's just your body. It's like quicker. It's like muscle memory. So maybe for him, he needs to like start trying to masturbate by like just jacking himself off and like having him be able to get there because I think like ego wise too for you, I'm sure like it doesn't feel great to like keep trying and nothing coming from that.
Literally
Nothing coming. I would also say like not to like compare these, but like a UTI versus not coming is so different. Like if your consequences, UTIs are so fucking terrible, painful,
awful.
but it's not like the fact that you're like, oh, well, I guess I have to deal with this so like, so he can come.
Yeah.
It's like, well, one of these things causes like actual serious medical pain. And like, it's not good to have reoccurring UTIs for the health of your body versus like, oh, I'm not going to like come to completion. I would also say, like, I know you said you're taking all the precautions that you can, but like definitely using a condom if you're not. That's like one of the things that they talk about with like even just body chemistry, that can be like a flare up for UTIs, that like his like, not that he's coming inside you, but like his juices and his body chemistry might be like fucking with your own body chemistry and you're getting like reactions if he's not wearing a condom.
And it depends on how long you've been with your partner too, because I used to, before I was married, I would get it with every new sexual partner, like immediately. And then you kind of get used to that person's bacteria. I know it's gross, but like you get used to that. And then you stop getting the infections. But then, so my husband, I got a UTI when we first started dating, and then it went away and I never did again. But then when we started using condoms, I actually started getting them again because I wasn't used to like the condom material, I guess.
Your body has like, I don't even know what the scientific term of it is, but it's like bacteria.
Yeah.
Like,
you need to build immunity or
exactly
whatever to that.
It's like a flu shot. It's a tick shot.
It's a tick shot.
Like you gotta get it like a mild reaction before you don't anymore. But I just think that this needs to be, it's not an either or sort of thing. And I think you need to kind of put your foot down health wise about the like that sense of it. And if you've already gone to the doctor, obviously you have, maybe it's a suggestion for him to go to a doctor and be like, hey, is there a medical, like we looked at, like you guys Googled it and you looked up the medical term, but like, is there a way you could go to a doctor? Is there a penis doctor who can like be like, oh, this is a thing that like a different way to go about it?
Psychologist maybe.
Yeah, or
too.
even if you guys look it up in the
Other
sense
issues.
of like look up threads on like Reddit of people who deal with this kind of stuff and like a way to kind of, I don't want to say get over it, but for him to like experience pleasure in other ways, because there isn't just one way for everyone to come. Do you know what I mean? Like even if it's like clitoral, like it's not one way every time. Like you're not going to come the exact same way every single time. And I think because he's used to it, it shouldn't be at the expense of like your physical health. And so I would just say like, let's not. And also he should be wanting to also make you come too. So if you want to explore other things, if it's him going down on you and then him not getting anything in return because he doesn't like handjobs or blowjobs and you can't have penetrative sex right now, then like, okay, then that's like what it is for this like moment.
Yeah,
and
it's a relationship.
Yeah, but if he's very much like, this is a like exchange, and like this has to be like you get this and I get this, I don't think that's also this kind of an indicator.
It is
like,
an exchange. I get sex, you get a UTI. It's great.
And like if I was him, I'd be like, wow, I feel really fucking bad.
Yeah.
Like, you're in so much pain.
But instead, it sounds like he's like, no, I have to keep doing this.
Yeah. And I get that you want to like pleasure and please your partner, but you also like need to like take care of your own vagina and your body. So I say put your foot down and then have him hopefully like reciprocate that stuff, and then have him work on like, maybe it's like mutual masturbation in like a different, like be there with him and that, and then maybe it's like a talking through it and being like, okay, what, or it's like porn to get some horn, like things that are like going to like be very different to try and find like, oh, what are these other things that I like?
Things, explore.
Yeah.
You're 17. It's the time to explore.
Oh yeah. Also, I just like love, like when I was 17, like we were having sneaky sex. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this, like the fact that you guys like you can call in about like advice. I had no advice. I didn't need advice. I was like, okay, how do I have sex as fast as possible when parents are home? Like that was the only thing I was worried about.
Dude, we would have sex. Well, I don't know if they're listening, but in my brother's room, looked out across the driveway. Like you could see.
Could just, you knew when they were coming home.
So it was always doggy style on my brother's bed. I was both looking out the window.
That is so
looking out the
funny.
window so we could both see.
Yeah. Oh no, that's genius. Mine was a lot of lunchtime. Like walked to my boyfriend's house during lunch, and his grandma was very old. And we would just lock the door and be like, "Is anyone here?" And we were like, "Shh." It was really bad. But best of luck with this. I'm also glad that you're calling in so young. Obviously, like be protective, but it also just means that you'll probably have like a really great sex life later on because you're thinking about that stuff now. Best of luck. Cranberry juice.
Yeah, look at there's forums too for the UTI stuff, because this is, if you're prone to UTIs, there's a lot of women that are prone to UTIs, and there's a lot of good natural remedies out there too, because I've recently tried to like find something that's not antibiotics, because I used to get them often. There's a lot of good stuff out there.
Yeah, I know tons of people get chronic UTIs. God, they're the fucking worst. Should we go on to the next?
Hey, Megan, Melissa, and potential guest. So I am 27. I started dating my boyfriend 5 years ago. So a little backstory, when I was 21, I lost my virginity, didn't wait for any particular reason, but I did. So obviously I didn't have a lot of experience, and therefore I felt like when I was having sex, I was really trying to put on a show and act like it was the best thing ever. And, you know, just feeling like I was getting like that notion to act like a porn star, basically. So 6 months later, after losing my virginity, I meet my boyfriend, we start having sex, and I felt this pressure to orgasm because I felt like every girl was doing it. And I feel like it's talked about a lot now openly, but even 5 years ago, I felt like amongst my friends, no one was really talking about women being unable to like come from penetration. So it started like right away in the relationship. I was just faking orgasms through penetration with or without foreplay kind of thing. He was still pretty active in foreplay. He would go down on me. I would have an orgasm like that, but never through penetrative sex. So it's become a problem where for the last like couple years, I've been trying to get out of the habit of faking an orgasm because I'd actually like more effort into sex now that foreplay feels like it's on the back burner from him. Sometimes us having sex for 5, 10, 15 minutes and him assuming that I'm just going to have an orgasm from penetration and no foreplay is really frustrating. I know I've dug this hole for myself. I've tried just like not faking it, but I feel like us having sex multiple times and suddenly I'm not coming. He's been taking offense. He's been asking a lot of questions. If I'm enjoying it, what's not wrong? And like the sex is good. Like I really do feel like we have genuinely good sex. It's just I don't feel like having sex through penetration is something that's going to happen easily for me, if at all, which I'm okay with. But like, how do I get to the point where I can stop faking? Like, I don't honestly feel like I can have an open conversation and be like, hey, 3 years we were having sex, I was faking it. That's embarrassing for both him and I. And I just don't know how to get out of the habit and to ask for more out of my relationship in terms of like foreplay and stuff like that. So like, please help. I'm an idiot. Thank you.
Okay, you're not an idiot.
No.
You have to have this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I did this with my husband the first 3 years, same exact thing.
Yeah.
She's been with this guy for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I did it for 3 years in the beginning because I actually did have an orgasm within the first couple times we had sex, but then I didn't want him to think that he's doing a bad job the rest of the time. So I just started faking it. And it's the worst fucking feeling because then when I tried to stop faking it or like, okay, I'm just going to like have a regular orgasm. If it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
If not, who cares? But I'm not going to fake it anymore. He started thinking something was wrong with him and like I wasn't enjoying sex anymore or something. And I love the sex. I just had to have that conversation. Like, it sucks. And yeah, you dug that hole and it fucking blows. But they are so much more appreciative because they do, I mean, I'm going to assume yours does too, want to please you. That's why they're taking offense because they're like, oh no, like I'm doing a bad job now. So the more communication you can give them, like, hey, I did this thing, I fucked up, I'm so sorry. But like, I really do enjoy sex and I want to get to that place and I want to just enjoy it rather than feeling like I have to come for you.
Yeah.
It's a hard conversation, but our sex has been so much better after.
And I think that like if you're coming when he goes down on you, like men are dumb, just like blanket statement, but like no one's ever going to be as good as if you're having real orgasms and then you're faking them. Not that he knows that there is a but he knows that there's a difference. He knows that like, oh, there's an orgasm that she has when I go down on her, which is like, wow, that's a really great one. And then there's the one that she has penetrative sex. But if you finally are like, the one that I was having when you would go down on me, like that's really that's what it was. Like the other, like I wasn't trying to fake it. And like exactly like you said, like I don't. And also I think it's like people have to understand, especially I think guys, and I've had this conversation with people I've dated before, where it's like, I'm not always gonna come. Like, and that's fine. Like for a lot of the time with men, like there is an end goal that is inevitably going to be achieved in 30 seconds or 30 minutes. Like you're trying to not come. I'm trying to come and like, I might not get there. Like, and that's also okay. And I think when we attach like, oh, this is the end result every time, they can assume like, oh, but you didn't come this time. And it's like, okay, well that can also be okay too. If I'm in the mood to have sex and I will enjoy the act of having sex, I don't have to come to enjoy it. Like if I want to come and like, I mean, I personally would always prefer to come, but like if I want to, then let's go for that. But I can also enjoy it without having that end result, which I think is like, I don't know, like it's just different for them because it tends to be
like that's
more like result driven
end of
thing.
Sex now happened.
Yeah.
The other thing is like now sometimes if I want to come and I didn't get there through penetration, he'll like help me finish myself off after sex, and that's still hot and I still love that. Also it's totally normal for a lot of women to not come during penetration sex. Sometimes it has to do with like certain partners, like they can access that spot easier. And sometimes you don't know where your own G-spot is to guide them there. And that's a little bit of exploring on your part. And then you can kind of like have uncomfortable sex for like a couple times where you're kind of, wait, move this way to the left a little bit, and then up, and then right there. If you keep going right there, then I will orgasm.
And also, some women's bodies are just built in a way that, like, if someone's penetrating you, you're not going to be able to access your G-spot at the same time, and that's also like again okay. But I think like if it were me, first of all, I've never had this conversation with someone. I've just broken up and then been like, cool, this is not happening anymore. And it wasn't until months when I started dating that, the guy before, I did not lie about not coming because I was like, this is terrible. But with Mott's, I was just like, I'm just not going to fake it. Like, I'm just not going to fake it at all because I kept digging myself into this hole. And I think like you said, like it's constructive and like your partners want to know, like they want to know that they're doing a good job and that you're enjoying yourself. And as much as like that tiny little bit of awkwardness, like he's not going to be mad at you. If anything, he's going to probably feel like, oh, I feel so bad that you felt like you needed to fake that. Like I feel so bad that you've been sacrificing like pleasure because like you didn't want to like hurt my feelings. Like it's not like, I don't know. I don't think it makes either of you look bad at all. I think it makes you look like a really compassionate and like empathetic person that you don't want to make your partner like feel, I don't know, like not feel like they're doing enough. But you can even just say like, hey, I've been like masturbating in this way before that, like in this way that I really liked. And I think like you could just like fully lie and be like, and now when we have penetrative sex, I just think like I would love to like, if you like went down on me more, I really like miss that. And like you even say like, it's more of like a recent time that you haven't been coming as much. Maybe it's like, yeah, because I've been like masturbating in a different way that I think is like fun and exciting. And let's try like incorporating some like like some toy or like vibrator that like you can like get some clit action on. Or like say that you watched some like porn thing that you thought like introduce it as something new, not like if you don't want to, and you said you didn't want to say like, hey, I haven't been coming for all of this time. But if you want to kind of bring it up as like there's this new and exciting thing that really like turns me on. Let's switch up what we're doing to then get yourself there. And then it can also be like a trial period of being like, I don't know if I'm going to come. I think we'll figure it out together. And then you don't have to fake it there because it's a new thing that you're trying to figure out together. But I do think the smartest thing to do would just to be sit down and tell him the full truth.
Yeah, the truth will set you free. Also, after telling him the truth, what you said about going down is obviously where you get the orgasm.
Yeah.
But I also found that once I wasn't feeling guilty the entire time I was having sex and I was free of that, I would actually come during penetrative sex more often if he went down on me first and I orgasmed. And then I would have like a second orgasm. And so I told him that, and that got him really excited.
Oh, he's like, I'm the king of the pussy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so he wanted to go down on me way more after knowing that like I could possibly come a second time with his dick after.
Yeah. And he clearly cares about you orgasming because he thinks you are.
Yeah.
So I think that's what you have to also take into consideration of like when you tell him. I think it is better to tell him because he cares. It's not like he's a guy that like I've been with guys where like I've like haven't faked it and they like didn't give a shit. I'm like, oh, for sure. Cool. But like you felt this expectation to fake it because he really wants you to come. And so just know that like that's, you both have the same end result, and like the egos, like who gives a shit?
He'll probably be relieved actually because right now he just thinks he's doing a terrible job. He like had this skill and then now it's gone.
Yeah. And you can reassure him, be like, I really love having sex with you, but like I think this also needs to be a journey for us together to find like, I come when you go down on me, but like I haven't come penetrative wise, and like that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying it. I'm really enjoying it, but like let's try and figure out a way that I can. And if I can't, like I like miss that. Like that was really hot. Like let's do that again.
I'm calling it. This is happening right now as I'm looking. Okay, so my boyfriend left this computer at my place. It's been here for like months, and it's just been sitting there. And today, I just got really curious, and he gave me his password for something else, and I was like, I wonder if it works to unlock this computer, because what else am I going to do on a Tuesday night? And it did unlock the computer. And there's, like, no files in it, because this is, like, his gaming bro computer. Like, he plays, like, Overwatch and stuff on here. And so I was like, I'm going to go through his internet history, because what else do I have to do on a Tuesday night? And I don't know, I didn't really expect to, like, find anything, I guess. I was just really curious. Like, I have no, like, suspicions of anything, and, like, there's nothing sketchy on here. However, so I'm looking at his history a little bit before we met, and in his history, I found a lot of, like, hentai porn, which is, like, it's, like, that anime, like, drawing stuff. And, like, a really big theme that I found are, like, succubus, which I guess is, like a woman, like, with, like, very, like, she looks very cis woman with, like, huge tits. But then they have, like, penises, but it's all, like, drawings and, like, animated stuff. And then, I mean, I didn't really care about that, you know, because it's, like, cool, you're getting off on your own time, I'm getting off on my own time, and we still get off together, whatever. But, like, I also found a furry account, and it looks like he made it from, like, right before we met, but recently, in, like, May, June-ish, I've found, like, more stuff in his history from when he's, like, logged in, and it says it's, like, that he's like, the history name will say like messages or like XYZ's profile, and it's on furry mates in case you want to look at the website. But I guess I'm kind of like really shook about it, and like I guess I don't need advice on like it being sketchy or like things like that, but kind of more like, do I bring it up? Do I not bring it up? Because it's not anything I guess that could hurt our relationship unless he is having like sexual conversations with these other people who are into furries, but I can't read the conversations on Furry Mate, and I already tried to like log into Furry Mate, but it says my credentials are invalid. So if you have any advice on whether or not I should bring this up and whether I should pay any attention to it and yell at me for snooping for no good reason. Yeah, cool. I hope you have a great rest of y'all's day. Thanks.
Wow. Can I say
great
something?
question.
Yeah. Succubus isn't like the dick thing. It's a demon, like a female demon that takes control of women.
Wow. Are you a Scorpio? Are you like, wow. I mean, I don't think you should bring it up because I think like not here to kink shame at all or any like whatever you're into as long as it's not hurting anyone. And I also consider that the porn where you like force girls have blowjobs where they cry, she's hurting. That is not okay. Like, don't be into that. Like, and that's me kink shaming just in the sense that I just like those poor girls are not getting paid enough to like literally choke on a dick. But yeah, I mean, like you said, this doesn't affect your relationship in any way. I think like what people can be into porn wise can also be very different what they're into like practicality wise. So it's like every guy I've ever dated has been like, oh yeah, I'm like super into like girl on girl porn. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not into that. Like I'm not gonna hook up with a girl. And it's like, okay, cool, for sure. And then it's not like a deal breaker. Yeah. It's like, okay, you can enjoy your porn that way. But I think like if he was feeling unsatisfied in you guys' sex life, I think as long as you guys have open communication, like across the board, like if he wanted to introduce anything like this, I think he probably would like bring it up to you. And then there are some things that people get off on like porn wise that they don't bring into their relationships with their partners. And that doesn't mean that that's like one of them is more satisfying than the other. It's like different itches you're scratching.
And I wonder though, because at first she was like, you know, people get off on whatever, I get off on my own time, whatever you're into. Did it sound like she was more concerned that he was talking to specific profiles?
Well, that stresses me out.
Yeah, because that's a different thing. But also she can't read what they were saying because she can't get into that account, which is a shame because like I would like to know as a detective.
What I would do was
look at his saved passwords.
Save passwords or log, but then Google has the thing now where they tell you if somebody logs in from another.
Honestly, fuck that shit. Fuck that shit more than anything.
Because then I would log into his email, reset the password, and then do it.
No, that's yeah. I would probably do that too. Yeah. I think, but like, I know that you said that you're looking at it for no good reason, and like you're like, oh, it's just here. So this is one of the examples. Usually when I say when you're you're snooping, it's because you're trying to find something. Oh, sorry. If someone leaves their fucking laptop there for a long time and you're bored and you have nothing to do, I'm like, yeah, well, if I look through, I just look through shit by people I babysat their houses. I'm like, what's in your cabinets?
Yeah,
like,
cabinets.
I'm fucking bored. Like, so I'm not saying, I don't want people to say like, oh my God, you're like going back. You always say that if you're looking for something. I don't think this case is necessarily you thinking that you're going to find something, but I think you need to evaluate the message stuff. Like, was there an inkling for you when you saw that like some of the stuff was like furry messages? And also, was it private messages or was it message boards? Because message boards, that's like Reddit. Like that's a lot of like, oh, I found this thing that really like worked for me. Like it's more collaborative. It's not like maybe there are like Reddit orgy stuff, but like to me, that's more like, hey, buddy to buddy, I found some like hot furry shit. Yeah. You want to check it out? Not like specific like person to person.
I'm a furry.
Yeah, like,
like this.
Get it. So I think like figuring out like if that sparked something in you that like if it was messages, then I think you can like be like, okay, let me like maybe snoop a little more, like figure something else out because
you definitely need hard evidence before you ever bring it up into conversation.
Oh yeah.
Unless she just like dresses up like a furry one day.
Oh my God.
Or also, message him as a furry and see if he responds to you. And then you'll know.
But maybe also if you guys haven't had the conversation about like kinks and just be like, hey, is there anything like if you've been dating for a while and just say like, hey, is there anything like I don't know, like knew that you'd be into, and like you can even bring up something that like maybe that you're into that you've never told him before, and like open up the opportunity for him to like talk about that kind of stuff with you and like say that he's into that.
He's like, yeah, could you be a cartoon succubus?
Yeah.
Or...
Also, I just don't know how you bring that up in like normal life, you know? But also at the same time, like that to me sounds like that's like if I was dating a guy who was into that versus like I don't know, like Instagram models.
Yeah.
I'd be like, well, yeah, I can't be a fucking cartoon or a furry. Right. Like, I am not threatened at all. Like,
true. Oh, and I agree.
So
like,
separate.
What you're into kink-wise may not be something that you actually want to happen.
Yeah, because like he can't actually have sex with a cartoon.
Yeah. Because like I'm in a gangbang porn, and I've told my husband that since like day one.
Yeah.
But I'm like, but I would never want to be in a gangbang. It's more just like it's taboo and something that could never happen to me type of thing.
And then that's like, this is the hot, sexy. I mean, there are people who have rape fantasies, but it's not like that's,
they don't want to be raped.
No, it's like there is something about like illicit stuff that like is just automatically like it's forbidden, and sex is forbidden. So things that are also forbidden, like they therefore become sexy.
Or a control thing, like being held down by a bunch of men is the same thing as being held down by just my husband.
Exactly.
But it's like, I don't have control over it. You know? So.
And also porn is just like everything's amplified. Where it's like, you want to be held down by one guy? How about we give you 9? And you're like, okay, more is more, for sure.
So like, you like women? What about cartoon women with 17 tentacle anuses?
What about, I know exactly. As soon as you said that, I can just picture those cartoons with those boobs that are just like falling. Like it's just they're bringing her down.
Yeah. You like boobs? How about a ton of like a quarter pound of boobs?
How about a truckload of tit?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you don't need to talk to him about it. I think if anything, if you are worried, I would, do some more snooping. And also maybe make an account. Actually, how about this? Make an account on that website for yourself and then see what that is. And so then like cross compare the URLs of what he's looking at and the profiles that he's looking at. See if there is a message option. Like see if you went to go message somebody, is this the same like URL
and then message
that you'd
him
have?
With your fake account and see if he reacts.
Oh my gosh.
No, I just love that like we get to give the advice because like like if you called in Dr. Drew or whatever, he's like, stop snooping, and we're like, no, you gotta snoop the right way, you're just doing it wrong.
Right. Yeah, no, that's always my advice, is being like, if you're gonna snoop smart.
Yeah.
Right. And also like you want to snoop in a way that like then when you bring it up, you don't want to be the one who brought it up, you need to create the situation in which it comes up, and then you're like, oh my gosh, and then you're like, I've known this for months, but like wow, and then it's a whole thing. Yeah, it's
same page.
Men make us crazy, and therefore I'm going to teach you how to be constructively crazy to get what you want out of it. But I mean, yeah. I'm also I just think like in general, I'm happy with your like outlook at this. Like I think like we can all giggle about like funny kinks and stuff, but like I also do appreciate like that the fact that this is your boyfriend, that you're not kink shaming him, and like it is kind of like whatever he's into. But you have every right to feel like a little like, whoa, like that's still jarring, because you're like, I thought you would just like wanted a threesome. I don't have a threesome with a cartoon, but yeah.
Jessica Rabbit.
Ooh,
dude, she's hot.
She is hot. But does she have eyebrows?
I don't know.
Or is it just the eyeshadow?
Don't know. Yeah.
There's something up with her eyes that always weirded me out.
Eyeshadow for
it's
sure.
So much eyeshadow.
Yeah.
Like,
and it's like if you saw that in real life, like lots of purple eyeshadow with a red sparkly dress.
Yeah, that's
very interesting.
I always think of what's that red and purple club with the ladies who wear hats?
It's eyebrows.
She has eyebrows?
Yeah, she has eyebrows.
Does she have weird eyebrows?
That's good.
They're just very thin.
Oh, okay. That's what I don't like.
That was in back then. We all did that.
I was inspired by Jessica Rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back. Support from today's show comes from Hinge. Hinge is the only dating app that's designed to be deleted. There are no gimmicks, timers, or games. Instead, every match begins by someone liking or commenting on a specific part of your profile. That way, you can meet your most compatible matches and have unique conversations over what you've shared on your detailed profile. No wonder why it's the dating app for people who want to get off dating apps. And now, Hinge has launched its own podcast. Woo woo! It's called Ghost Stories, and it's about making dating more honest. Hinge brings two people together, one who ghosted the other, and ask them to be transparent. I am incredibly all about this show because as a serial ghoster myself, I don't know, maybe it's kind of just like pouring salt in my own wounds, except it's not my own wounds. I get to like watch other people go through something that I'm so happy that I'm not dealing with. And you guys know how much of a nosy person I am. So check out Hinge's podcast, Ghost Stories, on Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen. Hello, everybody. We are back from our break, and let's get into the rest of the calls.
Hi, Megan. I am 21 years old, and I just have a weird question. I don't know if like, this is like common knowledge that like my little 21-year-old virgin brain doesn't understand, but I've only given a blowjob once, and honestly, I don't think it was that good. Like, it was awkward, kind of clumsy, but he did finish, so I was like, okay, woohoo, yay. But it wasn't that good. Also, my question is, I need the real advanced techniques for blowjobs. And then also, if you're doing a hand job, like if I wear a lot of rings, do I take those rings off or do I just leave them on? Because like that just seems like it wouldn't hurt the penis. I don't know, okay? I don't know. But just some advice about blowjobs. And then also, do you keep your rings on when you're doing a hand job? I feel like you do, but for some reason I'm just overthinking that.
Advanced blowjob techniques.
This is our most DM'd question.
We get so many questions.
Really?
Because we gave like basic tips one time.
And also like I wear as like on my gravestone it'll be like is fucking great at giving head. Like it is something that like I am not I don't give it to everybody, but like I am not shy about letting like no I'm great at this.
Mm-hmm. That's the whole joy of giving head.
Exactly.
That's the feeling like you are killer at
and
it.
Nikki Glaser's did you watch it?
Not yet.
Okay, her stand-up, she has a whole thing about like girls who love giving head, and she goes, no, those girls are good at it. She goes, and if you hate giving head, it's because you're bad. Yeah. And I was like, I mean,
you're like, this is lasting forever.
Like this is terrible, but like you love it when you're good. Okay, I'm gonna admit something. I've never given a hand job to completion in my entire life, so I have. I am. I don't know.
Not even like in high school.
No, I skipped hand jobs.
Okay,
wow.
Like, skipped a grade.
I was like, there was a guy that like just like came with you kissing him though, right?
Oh yeah.
Just went from that to like not hand jobs.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm someone who like hand jobs are not in my repertoire. Like I'm just like it's first of all, am I making out with you? Like, am I looking at you? Like, what am I doing? Like, they are just not a lot of like self lubrication.
You don't.
Yeah.
Okay, but you
it's
could
definitely
incorporate it into.
Yeah, but like I
like blowjobs,
a little, but like not really.
Okay.
Like I'm not. Again, I'm bomb at giving head. No one's ever been like, "Yo, can you like give me a hand job for a little bit longer?" Like I'm just like, let me get my hair tie. I know what I'm good at. Mm-hmm. So I would say like if your rings, I mean, in general, as somebody who ripped their earring through their ear because of a ring and had a seizure, I no longer wear rings. I would say rings are a hazard in general.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It was
later. We'll talk about it.
A whole thing. But I think like the most important thing with anything involving like a penis is like lubrication and wetness. So if like rings, if you have rings that are like getting caught on stuff, or if you find you have rings that get caught in your hair, if you're like giving a hand job to a guy who has like pubes, I would say if you find your rings a nuisance in your own, like if they get stuck in your hair, they get stuck on like in your clothes, take them off. Don't wear them then. But like wetness is more important, and like it's not going to catch on a ring if like you have like if you've got like lube on your hand.
Metal is like slippy. I would say if you're wearing like multiple rings and it pinches, maybe that would get in the way. Also, if you have like, those adjustable rings or like anything that's like sharp on the bottom part, I would take it off. But yeah, I wear my rings. I also don't give hand jobs to completion, but it is part of foreplay for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, we'll be making out, and then as soon like we start rubbing, and then like, as soon as it starts getting hard, and it's like, okay, and then we take it out.
Exactly.
It's like
it's like, hey, I want to have sex.
The
is me sticking my hand in your pants.
No, I'm about to do a blowjob, but like I gotta like get it as hard as possible first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, I love how you went from like you gave like a mediocre blowjob to be like, I'm ready for the advanced techniques. Are you? Like, are you actually like, I don't want to overwhelm you if you're not ready for them.
You practice the basics first.
Yeah. Because I think like you get good at a blowjob with experience. Like, I don't think that like the first blowjob you ever give is like gonna be great. And I think it's also
mine was.
You give them, Melissa. Give us the advanced techniques.
But like, I think that it also needs like building it up with if whoever you're dating or whatever, like you're going to figure out what they like. So like the best blowjob you give, like it's going to be different for every person you're giving, like because it's going to be their best blowjob because it's what they're super into. So like, is he into getting his balls sucked? Like pop a ball in your mouth. Like, is he into
that's advanced? I think because you got to be gentle.
See this. So were you ready for the advanced techniques?
Maybe this girl might not be ready, but there are other listeners out there that are like, okay, we are ready.
Okay. Yeah, we've already.
So
given
we should give them advanced techniques.
I find it's choreography. The whole thing is choreography, and it's like it's positioning everything. And I think the first step of like a really good blowjob is you have to set yourself up for success. You need to not be uncomfortable. You need to be in the right position to have access to everything you want to have access to. I personally don't think I give the best blowjobs when I'm 69ing. Every guy is completely disagreed, but I'm like, I don't feel the best. I
can't concentrate fully.
Oh my God, no. I'm like, I can't do this. Like, this is not working for me. But so I would say like set yourself up for success. Like make sure I've never given the best blowjob of my life literally on my knees on the floor. You're on a bed. I am like, that is like someplace where you can be there for an extended period of time and really go for it. And then we've said from the beginning, the wetter, the better. Like spit on if he's into you looking at him, like that the whole like lead up to it is like you said, you want to get him like as hard as possible. And like, cause the advanced techniques, like your mouth's gonna hurt, your jaw's gonna hurt. You want it to be like a quicker thing. We've talked about like what hand twist one way, whereas like tongue, mouth the other way, no teeth. And then I think like the most, like when you're like back in, and I'm demonstrating with the microphone, you're gonna need this. So it's like, if this is, well, say my hand is my mouth. If I'm going like this way, I'm gonna make my tongue go this way. Swirl this way. And then flick two. And then get the tongue as you're still doing like going. And then again, this is my mouth, not my hand. But you can have your hand here if you want to do that. But as your mouth's going up and down, like do your tongue underneath. This is the most sensitive part. The most. And then the tip. So if you can do like tongue stuff here and then other stuff like this, like way with the tip there.
For those of you just listening, not watching, it's like the bottom shaft of the penis. There's like a
the
line
closest to his body.
And you just put more pressure with your tongue there as you're going up.
And you can even do your thumb too, and just like rub your thumb in like circles around it. But like the most mind-blowing blowjob is going to be one that like defies the laws of physics. Like how is my ball in your mouth and you're like sucking my dick, and like how is your tongue here and all of that stuff. Like that's what I mean, like choreography. Like you have to get the rhythm and good at that kind of stuff. So like practice the rhythm aspect of it, but like if you can incorporate like the tip and then underneath the shaft and then like and if he's like into like cup, I mean always balls, like cup his balls, like massage his balls,
like gentle with it.
Okay, so
not too firm.
There's this thing I started doing maybe like 4 years into my relationship with my husband, because I always like, he loves my blowjobs. Like he's like, oh my God, you have such a good head. I don't even want to have sex because like I just want to explode right now.
Yeah, and you're like, well,
and I'm like, I love it. Give me more. But I took it up a notch because I was like, I want to give him more.
Yeah.
And I had read in several magazines from high school. I remember this Cosmopolitan magazine being like, push like
I already know
that. That taint area between the asshole and the balls, like apply a lot of pressure there. But my husband is really like doesn't want my fingers anywhere near his asshole. So I knew I had to like kind of pretend I was doing something else to get there. And so I would pretend to cup his balls. And he's like, ooh, I like how you massage my balls. And then I would slip the two fingers. And he went wild. He was like, what are you doing? That's different. This is crazy. It's so good. And I never told him. He still doesn't know. And he probably, I don't know if he'll listen to this, but.
But you're married. I would say in general, like, I know
let's get up a notch.
Plenty of guys, majority of guys who like a finger in their ass, that's a consent thing.
Yes.
There's a certain level of like, and I would also say like even with I wouldn't give an advanced blowjob to a guy that like I didn't know well, because like I don't want to do any, because like I'm doing
extra work.
I don't want
to learn the person.
Because like it's like a very intimate, like I'm a whore. Like I'm a fucking whore right now. And like if you're not down, like I'm mortified. So like there has to be a conversation there, or it's a relationship in which it's like, you see me in my sweatpants, and then I'm about to like blow your mind because like I am a whore now.
Yeah, like my husband likes it when I look sad while I'm giving him a blowjob, and I like it because I like being dominated. He's like, you look too good. Too happy, like be sad, like you don't want it, and I'm like, don't don't want this.
Oh, this dick. I don't want it.
I don't want it. Can I have this? Yes.
And inside you're like, fuck yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I think like, and even for like the amount of people who like ask us about like advanced techniques, I think like the way you're going to get like, and we can give these like specific advice like and locations and things, but like listen to like your partner and like what they're, and even if they're not saying what they really like, but like how their breathing changes and you're like, oh, you really like this. But overall, you can do all of these things, and if you're like timing and the rhythm's not right, it's gonna fucking suck. Like it's like I always think like the more you can tease in like the beginning of it, and then like it's a slow rhythm, and then but like you can't get to that fast point 30 seconds in because then it's like they're not there yet. It's
and make sure there's lots of saliva.
Oh, the wetter the better. Like you want spit dripping down his dick. That's like the number
like
thing
it should
when
be
guys
all over your face.
Oh,
like,
you should look. You should look like you have rabies. Like you should look disgusting. Like absolutely. And they're like, fuck yeah. But like every guy I've said like that have told me that like one of the biggest takeaways, they're like, oh, when it gets so wet that like your spit is dripping down my dick, that's like I'm like fucking done. I'm like, hell yeah. And you're just like hawking loogies on their dick. No, not full blown loogies.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Actually, the viscosity of mucus
honestly,
it is the same thing.
So
I do like that.
Yeah, it truly. Yeah. Also, don't give, if you take Adderall and you usually get cotton mouth, don't give a blowjob.
I was gonna actually ask you that question because your mouth gets dry a lot while we're talking.
Oh
so
yeah.
What do you do?
First of all, I think if I would just a lot of water, and also like I would overhydrate. You know,
Got it.
To like get like. You know, because like if my mouth is too dry, have you ever given I have attempted to give a blowjob when I used to like actually like smoke weed that would get me high, not just like make me like not neurotic. And you have cotton mouth and you're like trying to get. I can't. It's like eating like a sleeve of saltines. You're like, my mouth is so dry. I can't fit.
Your lips are like sticking to your teeth. Like,
I can't put it in. Oh my god, true. So funny. Any other advanced tips, techniques?
I don't know. I mean, like it is about your partner, what they like the most. But like, recently, like he's been liking a lot of deep throat, and so like,
oh yeah,
I can fit like it all the way down. He thinks that's so hot.
Wow.
But, like that's it takes my sentence is all over the place. But if you squeeze your thumb,
I'm not fucking crazy. I told you about this.
It takes away your gag reflex.
Yeah, or it tricks
and
you.
You look like a master. Yeah, placebo effect. I don't know what it is.
I learned that in high school, and I'm like, bitch, I got this.
So fine. One hand's on the shaft, one hand's like this,
and you're like, I'm not. But Nicole Byer also taught us the trick of like just stick your tongue in the back of your throat, and then they think you're deep throating, and then
if you just raise your tongue,
I also think someone also DM'd me and asked me if they thought like my TMJ hurt or helped my blowjob techniques. I think helped.
I think it helps because it would make it
my jaws. It just opens so
it's
fucking
like a
wide.
snake.
Yeah, this is me saying like give a blowjob and like stick a ball in your mouth. I was like, how do you fit
constrictor?
That? Yeah, that's my giant broken jaw. It's cool. I know my orthodontist was like, I really think we need to get your jaw surgery. Like it's getting really bad. And I told Mott's like, no, why? What? And I was like, yeah, they have to like wire my mouth shut. He's like, that's a terrible idea. Don't do that.
Superpower.
Don't do that. And I was like, oh, are you concerned about the podcast? He's like, yes, I'm so concerned about you talking. That's what it is. Like for sure. But I think those are like advanced technique. I think like
that's a good starter.
Yeah,
advanced.
Go try those out and come back to.
Yeah,
and again, rhythm.
Yeah.
Focus on rhythm. And just like wetness and all of that, and like ease into it. Once you get good feedback, that's also going to make, because again, this is in the Nikki Glaser special where she says like about the second, it's one guy who tells a girl like, you're really good at this. And it's like, oh my God, I am.
It was, for me, it was
like,
this guy was like, whoa, you give like bomb head. And I was like,
and then you're like, it's like you have glasses on now, and you're like,
I got this.
I'm gonna go to the library and study. Like this is my calling. Like I know what I'm doing for the rest of my fucking life. So like as soon as you get that feedback, like that's when you're gonna feel more comfortable. If you're hearing these techniques and being like, whoa, I'm like, once you get that confidence boost, like there is no ego boost. Like someone being like, hey, that was really good, and you're like, oh my God,
I'm a master.
I am the best. And so then you'll feel more comfortable, and also like you're gonna get better just because you're more confident. Because like an unconfident blowjob is just
an insecure blowjob,
just like licking ice cream. I think.
Hello. Nasty. Oh yeah, and pressure was the last one I was gonna say.
Well, we talked about that a little bit, yeah.
But like making sure like you're not like just open mouth. I mean like
Yeah.
There's like a good amount of like.
Do you block your teeth at all?
Yes.
Yeah, because I do, but my husband likes a little bit of teeth, and I'm like, that's.
I think that's like the second advance. Like that's the next. A little bit. Yeah.
Most guys like a little bit. Yeah.
You have to have good teeth control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And also like I feel like when girls give a little bit of teeth, I'm like it's always an accident, and like I'm always trying not to, and like I'll give a little, and then you're like, oh, I like that, and you're like, cool. I'm never gonna try and give teeth because I'm just gonna like serrate like just sandpaper your dick and like. Ugh, painful.
Yeah. We've had a few DMs too. Might as well bring it up now about if you're a spitter, where should you spit?
I've never spit. I have no idea where you spit.
Yeah. Well,
I think you have to prepare and like get a tissue beforehand.
Yeah, like have a Solo cup next to your bed or something.
Not
like a tissue or like your clothes, whatever you're wearing.
His clothes.
I feel like a tissue might not hold enough. Yeah. That's a lot of liquid for a tissue.
Or just like like have your mouth open and just let it come like out. Some guys like to see it. Yeah. Some guys like to see that.
Or if you're a spitter, I feel like you're a spitter, you don't want it on your face.
Oh, really? Because like
it might be the swallowing part that's.
I would prefer, because the taste is what.
Yeah.
And also the volume and being able to swallow that much.
Back to the mic.
Sometimes the volume too much.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming.
Yeah. I think that's when I've spit is like there's too much cum to swallow and not throw up.
Yeah. When you're not prepared, you're like, I didn't know this much was about to come. Holy shit. I got to promote Nikki Glaser's special again, but she talks about this in this where she like doesn't understand spitters because she's like, do you just walk around and be like, oh, no, I was like, that's what I see it as. But I think spit on like get it like a towel, or something.
The best thing is to avoid being a spitter is like if he's about to come, maybe he's communicating it to you, getting it as far back.
It just slides right down.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like an oyster
swallow
shooter.
Pills, like you take Advil. I don't know. For me, I also personally am like. I just like cum dries weird. Like if I spit it, it's gonna like get on my. You know what I mean? Like it dries on your. Yeah. If I have makeup on,
you ever get it in your eye? It turns it like bright red.
Have you ever gotten it in your hair after you've freshly showered? Have you gotten cum in wet hair?
No.
I was mad for days. I was like, you dick! I just showered. I deep conditioned my hair. I was so mad because no matter how much you rinse it, it will not.
You gotta wash it.
No, it doesn't shine. It makes your hair dull. It doesn't shine, and it's like your hair's all shiny, and then there's like this patch where clearly there was something in it. I was livid. But yeah, so that's where I would say you should spit if you want.
Yeah,
but I don't know. I'm not.
It's not my first preference, right?
No. I also just find when I spit, I look disgusted. Like if I'm spitting something out, I look disgusted.
Don't hold
and I'm
it.
like,
I'm just like, don't just pull back and just jack them off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like stick it in your pussy really quick.
Yeah, then just get pregnant.
It's like a hose control.
It's just a hose where he's like, I'm in but
gotcha, trapped you.
You're a doctor? You're a doctor, right? Okay.
God, that's funny.
Wonderful.
On to the next.
Hey guys. So I wrote this out, so I'm just going to read it to you to keep myself under 3 minutes. So I have been with my boyfriend for 5 years now and have had sex with him thousands of times. Here's my problem. I experience coregasms but have never came during sex. I found out about the coregasms in middle school, and as it only takes me a few sit-ups to come, developed a six-pack very quickly. I've spoken to my gynecologist, and she gave me the generic, it takes women longer to come, whatever, foreplay, all that speech. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy sex with my boyfriend, but after 5 years, me not coming has become normal, so he doesn't even try. When he does, I feel pressure to come, and then of course don't because I'm thinking about it too hard. I've Amazon Primed the book She Comes First that you frequently mention for him, but would love any additional advice you can give. I still enjoy having sex regardless, like I said, but I would love to experience having an orgasm at his hands. Dick, tongue, whatever. I think it's also important to mention I lost my virginity to him and have never slept with anyone else, but he has, and those girls haven't had a problem as far as he knows. This isn't a major problem in our relationship, and we are planning to get engaged within the next 2 years. But yeah, I just want to come. So if you have any advice, please let me know. Thanks. Love the podcast so much.
What's a coregasm?
So it's having an orgasm like when you work out. So
Shut
like
the fuck up.
it happens in 5% of women.
Bitch, you are so lucky. Also, how do you go to the gym? How do you work out?
She has a good time at the gym.
My! I mean, I have a good time at SoulCycle sometimes, but like, holy shit!
Another level.
Wow. Wait, so you do sit-ups and you just come?
Yeah.
Wow. The only thing I get from a
it's
sit-up is
like-
a queef.
Like I farted.
Yeah, like I farted, I've queefed. Oh my god! You should take Pilates, sensual yoga. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you like?
What a great
What about if you
time.
plank? Do you think you'll like orgasm while
Probably.
you plank, like the first guy?
Mm.
Wow, that would make working out so much
It
more
really
enjoyable.
would. I wonder if do you have a six pack from doing?
Oh, I would have a full blown
I'd
six
be
pack.
going to the gym all the time.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't make it to the gym because I just
Wanna
masturbated.
masturbate.
Yeah.
No,
You're like,
it's-
I got my workout. It's good for the
It's
heart.
done.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this is
It's
serotonin.
cardio.
I'm
Yeah.
good. I'm fine. Wow. God.
We are screwing each other over or we're screwing ourselves over by faking orgasms. I've learned in this episode because those women definitely didn't come all the time with your boyfriend.
Yeah.
They really didn't. Maybe they came once or twice, or they came, like they didn't fake a few of them, but like it wasn't like how he's explaining it. Men's egos just get really big from us faking it, and then put such unnecessary pressure on other women.
But if you've talked to a guy or you've like about a guy who's like who's really good at sex, they will tell you the reason they got good is because they had a girl who was like, hey, this sucks.
Yeah.
And like that, like my boyfriend, him and his high school friends were just incestuous. Like all of his high school friends, they were just friends. And they all hooked up. He was like, oh no, like it was being like, what are you fucking doing? Like, no, do this, do this, do this. He's like, I literally got like my best friends essentially to tell me as like girls, like do this is so much better. And he's like, and there was no ego in it because they're friends. It's not like a relationship, but like we're doing nobody any favors. No. Like you're just like, that's how like there are like 35-year-old men out in the world being like, I'm great at this. And you're like, no, you're terrible.
You're really
and how have you had sex for so much of your life and you're so bad? Not saying that your boyfriend is bad, but I mean, I think like
it's just he doesn't have to put in the work to make her come. So
no, and I think like
did she say something like 5 years without her coming with her boyfriend? That's crazy. But not even tongue or anything.
And I think this is you putting it on you though.
Yeah.
But like I don't want to say this in like a negative way, but I think like you're not. I don't think you're showing to him that coming is a priority for you. So he's therefore thinking, oh, it's not a priority, but it is a priority for you. But like you just I don't know, and I don't know if there's any like. I don't know if you feel like weird shame about like coregasms of like a sense that like you feel very different that it's like, oh, well, I have this thing. So therefore I can't have like this other thing. But like, I think now it sounds to me that like you are like not realizing, but like you want to try all this other stuff. And maybe when you guys first started dating, like this was something that felt a little bit more weird and you felt like, I don't know, maybe sex wasn't something you wanted to talk about because you had this like quote unquote like weird thing that you could do that you didn't hear about because I've never even heard about it before.
Just do some sit-ups while you're having sex.
I know. I was like, can't you like if you're on top?
If you're on top.
Right? Yeah. Like you get to enjoy that aspect of it. But I think
but still it's like her putting in on the work without him really trying.
Yeah.
That's
but I think you need to have I think he's just used to it and he doesn't know. I don't think he knows that this is affecting you and this like is hurting you because I think you've probably put on this face for 5 years that like it hasn't and not that it's like, and maybe at some point for you it felt, I don't know, like when I didn't have orgasms like with a partner until I started dating my boyfriend and like I wasn't like detached from sex, but it was kind of like, oh, like I didn't care as much because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna get there, so like I'll have fun, but like whatever. But I could see the more you're with this person, you're like, actually, well, no, I kind of really want to try this again. But I think even how you phrased it to us was like, I would talk to him about it. If you've been together for this long, I think you can just say like, hey, I really want to like try this again. Like I really want to like, I don't know, let's go for it. Like
and bring it up in like the emotional context of like, hey, I am not enjoying this, and then I walk away from sex feeling not feelings of yay, we're closer, but rather like I'm less than.
Yeah.
It's like she's being used.
Right. Yeah.
And I don't think that that's necessary. I don't think that's necessarily his intention. I just think like you've been together with him for so long, like you change and evolve and like maybe like you're more comfortable and it's like, you know what, if it doesn't work the first time or we're trying weirder stuff, like I'm so much more comfortable with you now. I'm ready to try that stuff and like see how it goes.
Yeah, because she said she lost her virginity to him. Yeah. So like, of course you're not comfortable talking about anything, especially if your partner's more experienced, which he is. You're like, oh, I am the novice. I am the student. I know nothing. You feel almost like you can't bring up these things. But now it's been enough time that you, definitely explore.
Yeah, and you're comfortable enough to bring it up with your gynecologist and all of this stuff. Like I think it's just about like kind of like the other call. Like I think it's introducing something new and just being like, hey, this is exciting. Like, guess what? You get to have sex with me. And we're gonna have sex a lot because I want to figure this shit out. Like it's not gonna be like a nuisance to him if he really cares about you. Like it's gonna be like, oh wow, this is fun and exciting. And maybe, you don't know, maybe he really like wants to do that, but like you haven't been as seemingly as invested in it. So like he hasn't been, but like maybe he's gonna be fucking stoked. Yeah. One of my friends used to date this girl a long time ago, and she'd never had an orgasm with a partner ever before. And as soon as he found it out, it was like his mission. He was like, I have been blessed by the gods with this opportunity. I am not going to take advantage of it. This is going to be amazing. And like was so excited and invested in that. But like, I think like you just have to give him that opportunity and talk to him about it. Otherwise, nothing is going to change. And you can say, like, I've said that before with people that I've dated before, where if it's like they're not going down on me as often, I'm like, honestly, I just kind of feel like, why am I here? Like, I do feel kind of used. And even just saying those words, if they care about it, it's like, oh my God, I am scum. I am so sorry. Like, they don't want you to feel like that. But I think a lot of the times, I mean, we all get in our own heads when we're having sex, and guys in general can be like, oh my God, it's just like, it's my guy's asking, like, how was that hand job for you? And you're like, fine. I didn't do anything for me. That he's maybe a little bit in his own world and not recognizing and realizing that you're not having a good time. But I think the second that you say that, he's going to be like, oh shit, let me like fix this. Let's try this immediately. Let's figure this stuff out.
And if they don't care about you at all, then maybe it's not a good relationship.
Yeah.
You know, like I think when I try to think worst case scenario, what's like the worst thing that can happen from people bringing it up with their partners that like
he doesn't want to try.
Yeah, is that they don't care. They're like, oh, let's just keep doing what we've been doing. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, maybe that's someone that's not considering your feelings in a broader sense.
Well, that's exactly, I was going to say, that's exactly like, if someone didn't care about that, then I'm like, oh, so this, okay, now let's take the sex out of the equation. Like, something's not working for me, but it's working for you. And it's like, okay, it's fine. And it's like, what? No. Yeah, I think his reaction and how he'll do that will also, you'll be able to like see that. And also, we get so many fucking calls of people being like, oh my God, but he's like so great in bed. Like this, all of this stuff. Like he's so great. But like there can also be someone who's incredible in bed and like you have a really fun time and you really get along with them. But like if it doesn't work like sexual compatibility wise, like you don't have to sacrifice coming with him. Right. Like that's not your perfect partner, quote unquote. Like it's not something that you need to settle for. If sex is important to you, like you should be with someone who matches you sex wise and like pleases you in a way that like you can, like you want to be with for the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's so important.
Yeah, but I think it's just a conversation. And let's be honest, like I think, yeah, like I said, how you talked about it with us, I think that like, yeah, I think you can literally just say
not
that
offensive
to him.
At all.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it's a good time. But
unless he's like, yeah, those girls did come all the time. Oh my God. He doesn't believe you.
My favorite thing is bursting bubbles of guys that I've like dated and being like, yeah, no, none of those girls did.
Yeah.
I was like, no, she came from penetrative sex like all the time. I was like, did she? Wow, that's crazy. Okay, it's time for Don't Blame Them. So this is when a listener will call in with their own advice from a previous episode. So if they had fucked a furry, then they might be like, hey,
it's cool.
This is what it's about.
Hi, Megan and Melissa and guest. I'm calling in about in response to the caller from the episode with Kelsey. She had been diagnosed with HPV, or she got tested for HPV. I just wanted to call in because I had the exact same thing happen to me. I got an abnormal pap smear. It came back that I was HPV positive, but for one of the strains that don't lead to cervical cancer. I had a lot of fear when that happened. I was really scared of what was going to happen. I had a lot of uncertainty about how that was going to affect me and my body. So I just remember being really scared and having a lot of the same fears that the caller had. So I thought I would call in just with, my own story and in the hope that it might calm her mind a little bit. So I'll say that I did get the full HPV vaccine. I got the whole Gardasil series when I was young, and I still got HPV. I don't know. I had a partner at the time, but I maybe got it from him. I maybe didn't, which was its own fun conversation to have. Like, hi, I have an STD. Don't know if it's from you or not. Maybe it was from someone else. You might have it. You should get tested. So that was a scary conversation. But nothing else really changed. The only thing is that I have to go to the gynecologist and get a pap smear every year instead of every 3 years. And my doctor said the same thing Melissa did, that the HPV would just kind of go away on its own. And we just had to keep doing the tests until we saw it go away and to just double check that nothing else was going on. So it really wasn't as scary as I made it out to be in my head. Once I sort of got educated about all of the non-scary things and how it wasn't really going to impact me as much as I thought it was going to, it took a lot of that fear away. So to that caller, you're going to be fine. It's not as scary as you think it is. I hope this helps. So anyway, love everything you guys do. Thanks so much.
Wait, people only go once every 3 years?
I think that's, I don't know. I went for my first one.
I thought oh, really?
I know,
Ever?
I know. Yeah, I know.
I go
because called an annual.
It's called an annual.
Yeah,
I think maybe it's past.
I think like it might be like
21.
If you're sexually active, it might be every year.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But this isn't. Hold on.
So I had HPV and the same exact thing. It was like the non-malignant strain because there's over 100, and only 13 are malignant. But I have to go every 6 months because of that.
Yeah.
And sometimes it comes back as abnormal again, and then sometimes it's like normal. But yeah, you just have to keep an eye on it. But yeah, there's a lot of like misinformation or like uneducated people about HPV. So I'm pretty open about talking about it because a lot of women have it. Like it's like 1 in 3. And I think it's probably even more than that, but people aren't like,
they don't know
saying it or they don't know. Yeah. And guys don't know at all that they're carriers of it. And I even got it when I had sex using a condom. And so people don't know that they can get it that way too, because it can go around condoms. But yeah, people were like, you have genital warts. They were like, oh, you have some other thing. And I'm like, no, like it's literally not that. It's like a cell that's in a different shape. And then sometimes it's not. But yeah, you have to definitely like check it out every year. And then if you switch partners, there's a chance that you can contract the malignant strain if you don't get the shot. But
so if anyone listens to Kelsey podcast, Kelsey actually just got diagnosed with HPV, which is crazy.
Dark?
Yeah. So Kelsey was our guest for this episode.
Oh, okay.
Prior to all of this happening, but she just released an episode on her pod, and I was DMing her talking to her about this because she had an abnormal pap smear after she'd been on the podcast where we gave advice to this girl about HPV. And neither of us really knew anything. And then she's been super open talking about it. And it's crazy for us to go from like, Kelsey and I sitting here being like, oh, we don't know anything. Now I'm like, oh, Kelsey's my resident expert. Like she just did a whole podcast episode on it. Which I think if anyone's listening to, like if anyone who heard her original episode where she talked about it, definitely go listen to her podcast about that episode. It's incredibly informative and interesting because I talked about in Kelsey's episode, the only experience I ever had was my mom had HPV, but she had cancer. So like
so you just associated it with...
And that's the issue. It's the same thing that I think like we're now breaking down the difference between HIV and AIDS, but we're not breaking down that difference with HPV.
Yeah.
There isn't like, it's just an overarching thing that you see on a pamphlet that your doctor's like, would you like a Gardasil shot so you don't get HPV, which will give you cancer?
Dude, and I got it when the Gardasil shot was just coming out. So it was like $900 for one shot. You know, you had to get 3 times. And I had never heard of it before. And I was like, well, no.
And it's not 100% effective. And also they didn't force you to get, the only reason why I got it was because my mom had it. It was like, no, you have to do this. But it wasn't like polio. It wasn't like the doctors are like, no, you have to do this. But yeah, I think it's informative for like all of us. Cause I think like, it's something that like we don't. I don't know. You don't
There's a
think
stigma
about
for sure that like if you have it like or something like you can pass it and you can kill
like
someone.
Everybody has
it.
Yeah. Well, I think we're finally like
or at some point
like,
you've had it.
Like the different types of herpes. We're finally trying to like understand the difference and like how like the whole population has like one kind of herpes.
And the older you get, the more people have fucked each other. Like, the more likely the people you're having sex with have something.
And like it doesn't make you like dirty or unclean or anything like that. It's just kind of something that like happens. And it's the same thing with like any like STD or any even like illness like in that way. Like if you think about like yeast infections, like these are different things that like they happen, they can come back, they go away, they come back. But like it's a medical thing that like as long as like you can have an open conversation with your doctor, you don't have to talk to your friends about it. But like I think it's great to talk to your friends about it. But like with your doctor, you're going to be it all becomes manageable at a certain point. It's just like understanding that and learning that and not feeling like the grosser you feel about something. And even Kelsey said it before when because she gets chronic, was it yeast infections or UTIs?
I thought it was yeast infections.
Because we got very graphic talking about our yeast infections. And she talked about how the more positive she talked to her body and the happier she was. She's like, we're in it together. Like this seems like a lot nicer and a lot better when it's not like when you're not disgusted by your own body. Like, you're at war. It's like, no, come on. We're on the same team. Like we got this. So
it should have been like that during periods too. You get cramping and I'm like, what do you need, body? You need a warm pad? What do you need? I got you. I can take care of you.
Oh, I'm not like that with cramps. I am at war with my body. I am like, you fucking piece of shit. Why are you doing this?
I have so much to do today.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know. I was going to go to the Jonas Brothers concert tomorrow, but I was like, I'm going to have to cancel because it'll be my day 2 period. And then that is just horizontal crying.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
It's fun being
I've got clarification on the annual thing. So in 2012, they actually changed going every year. So it's not an annual anymore. So
so she might be now going every 6 months like you do.
Well, see, here's a hack though. Don't go every 3 years. Make that your physical in one. Like that's still a doctor. So I still have them test for like my blood, like do my blood work, test my vitamins, all of that shit. Like the stuff that you would normally do like with your primary physician. I don't do that. I just do the gyno appointment one time. And that one's more covered by like cheaper insurances too than like the physical, the annual or the primary care physician. So yeah, I just have my gyno do everything.
Oh wow.
And there's a life hack for you.
That's nice.
Take your annual.
I like that. I need to find a new gynecologist. Guys, that's it for our episode. Nikki, thank you so much for being on.
Thanks for bringing me on again.
Thanks for talking about this dirty shit. Like
I love to.
I love that you love to, and I love that I can like. Usually, I have to save these questions for just me and Melissa, but I'm like, nah, she'll talk about rubbing that taint.
Yeah, we actually, if you listen to our new podcast, Hey Bitch, which is an all women podcast, yeah, we get pretty detailed in there.
Oh my god, there are so many of you.
Kink shaming the girl that like is choking on a dick. There's a girl in our group that loves to choke on a dick. She likes a guy to spit in her mouth and cover her mouth and make her swallow it. Like, and she just loves that shit. Oh my god,
she must have really great like nasal passages for breathing.
Oh yeah,
she has to.
She just loves it. She likes being choked. She likes being like punched. She likes like everything.
Oh my gosh,
yeah,
girl. I like that. I like that for her. So plug your podcast. Where can people listen to it?
Hey Bitch, All Women's Podcast. I also have a podcast called Shit They Don't Tell You. It's with me and my husband. We cover relationship topics and sex and all that too, but we also cover like finance and like credit and like all the shit that they didn't tell you back in the day.
Truly.
But yeah, and then YouTube, it's Nikki Limo, and Instagram's all Nikki Limo, but
hell yeah.
I think that's enough plugs, right?
That's a good time. And now I'll plug us, guys. Oh my God, thanks so much for being on. If you guys want to call in for an upcoming episode, you can leave us a voicemail at 310-694-0976. Or you can send us an audio message if you're an international caller and record that on your phone and email it to us at meghanpodcast@gmail.com. Check out our Instagram, Don't Blame Meme Pod. If you're watching this, go listen to it. If you go to don'tblameme.show, you can figure out all the different places you can listen and or watch. And that's pretty much it, right? Yep. Cool. We'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.
Bye.
Shop or consign at The Real Real, the leading reseller of authenticated consignment from top designers. The Real Real has women and men's luxury fashion as well as fine jewelry, watches, art, and home at up to 90% off retail. Every item is authenticated by The Real Real's team of authenticators. Shop or consign in-store at therealreal.com or download the app and get 20% off select items with the promo code REAL. Don't Blame Me is a production by me. Executive produced by Melissa DeMonts. Camera operator Amanda Lechner. And music by Ryan Hunter and Giacomo Picasso, part of the HerPod Network.